please like, share, and subscribe, and ring the little bell. Ring the little bell so you're notified when new videos drop. And I have been watching Severance, and it is stunning. Absolutely stunning. Huge recommend. Absolutely huge recommend. I think it's but more than one of the best things I've seen this year. One of the best things I've ever seen. Right? It's really, really clever. Really, really good. So this review is going to start spoiler free. Because I want you to watch it, right? That's right, because it's really good. I really want you to watch it. It's going to start spoiler free. I'm going to then go into spoilers for the first episode, so you can understand the premise of it, if you want. I would recommend not listening to it and just going in cold like I did, because it blew my freaking mind, right? But I'm going to go into the spoilers where we get into in episode 1, where it sets up the basic premise of the show, and then I'm going to get into more spoilers as I go on. But please, go watch it. It's unbelievably good. I am so blown away by how clever it was, right? How clever and exquisite it was. And I'll go one step further. You know, I've seen a lot of things on Apple TV Plus, and a lot of it's been, I would say, marred by the platforming of really bizarre ideas on sexuality and identity, right? I really like the series Foundation for, who was it? It basically broke it down to the 3 strands. One with, I can't remember his name. He was the villain in the first Guardians of the Galaxy movie and in *Halt and Catch Fire*. I don't know, it'll come back to me at some point, probably the minute I saw watching it. But that was a really fascinating idea. It was a sci-fi show where he was the emperor, and there were 3 versions of him, like a son, like a young version, 3 clones of him. A young version, an adult version, and an elderly version. And there's all the... So I found that whole plot thread was absolutely fantastic. There's a show Foundation, if I didn't say the name of the show, right? And then you got 2 other plot threads, both of them led by stunning and brave black women. Now, do I mind there being stunning and brave black women on TV? Absolutely not. Do I mind human beings used as tokens to make that so predominantly white liberals can feel like they're moral? Yes, I find it disgusting. Absolutely disgusting. So that, like most other things on Apple TV Plus, I found very, very marred by this modern day platforming. This is not there at all, right? This is not there. This is just clever ideas, very clever ideas about life and identity. Fine, before we get into it, can you hit the like button, the share button, the subscribe button? That'd be fantastic, double dozy. And when the second season of this comes out, I'll be reviewing them each individual episode. I do not know how I would have coped had I been watching this when it first came out, because I'm not a big binge watcher. I like to watch each individual episode and savor it, and I get an idea what's going. I couldn't stop going to the next episode on this thing, right? But the next one I will, this season I'll be reviewing individually, and hopefully I'll be on the edge of my seat. Yeah, all the way through. So like, share, subscribe, comment, sign up my Substack. In the notes, it's my email newsletter. If you ever see me not put content on YouTube for a day, that means they have banned me, right? They ban me a lot of times because I'm not really into this identity politics thing that they really, really, really super are into. So I get in trouble often. So I have an alternative channel. I have a Rumble channel. So sign up to my Substack and you'll be updated when everything goes. I was giving out tons of free stuff on my Substack, but I realized why that's ground to a halt over the last month and a half, because I've been doing this daily self-growth series. I'm also a rabbi, right? A Bible-thumping rabbi. I really am, right? Because we're in this 50-day period. We're up to day 36 of it, so I got another couple of weeks. But that's what's in my life right now that's stopping me as such. So we only got a couple of weeks out, and then there's a paid Substack where I'm going to be getting out a ton of stuff that once I can breathe again, which will be a couple of weeks when that thing is finally over. Fine, like, share, subscribe, comment, Substack. Let me know what you think. Fine, let's talk about Severance. So it starts off weird. Starts off quite weird. A woman wakes up in a conference room, and there's a speaker on the desk, and she says, I can't even remember now. Do you remember your name? What's your name? And she doesn't know anything about herself or where she is, and she's freaking out, right? By the way, fantastic acting by, who was it? Britt Lower. Never seen her in anything else before. Very, very, very good in this. And then, so the creepy voice on the other end of the speaker says, "Listen, before to let you out, we have I have to ask you 5 questions, right? And the 5 questions about who she is, like what's her name, where she's from, what's the color of her mother's eyes. She can't remember any of them, but she can remember general information, right? General information, what's going on. And so, yeah, again, she's absolutely freaking out. She wants to know, is she dead? What's going on? So then it winds back. It winds back, and you see it from the point of view of the person on the other end of the speaker, which is Mark S, or Mark Scout, as he's also known, played by Adam Scott. Yes, I've seen Adam Scott in a bunch of stuff. He's normally like in the nice, friendly, Parks and Rec kind of like non-threatening sitcom type of person who you quite like. Here, it's a real dramatic tour de force, right? He's still very likable. He's a naturally very likable person, but I couldn't tell if they were using prosthetics in the makeup to make him look a little bit off, a little bit sickly, a little bit weird, right? So then you see the Dave from his point of view. He comes to work and he goes to, and it's a weird ritual he goes to when he goes to work. He arrives in the parking lot, he's crying. Right, and then he goes in, and he's checked through all this security, and he goes through to this elevator, and as he's in the elevator, this weird like thing happens, and it's kind of a shape change of his face happens, and he's in the office, and things are slightly different. It's a very, very bright office, and his office mates are Dylan, played by Zach Cherry. I've seen him in a couple of things, I can't remember what, and John Turturro. John Turturro, of course, freaking excellent and everything. But the fourth member of the team, PD, hasn't showed up, and they're a little bit freaked out about it. So the Mr. Milchick, their boss, calls them in to see the big boss, played by Patricia Arquette, called Mrs. Who was it? Mrs. Kober, right? Mrs. Kober. And she says that their supervisor, PD, has left the company. Mark is like, no! You can see he's very, very, very shaken, right? Much more shaken than you should be if somebody leaves a company. And they offer him the promotion to become the office leader. You know, the I can't remember the title they give him. And then it's his job to talk this the new recruit through the waking up process, and you still don't know what's going on, right? And so when she asks if she's dead, it seems quite reasonable, right? I thought it's got to be something weird like that, absolutely weird like that. So if you don't want to know what happens, just go and watch it right now, because first set of spoilers are coming right now. Okay, spoiler warning, spoiler warning, spoiler warning. Okay, you have been warned. You have been warned for spoilers. So what's going on is this: they have undergone a procedure called severance, which is there's a chip put in their brain where their memories are geolocated. If they're in one location, they can only access the memories from that location, and when they're not in that location, they can't access those memories. So in essence, they are two different people, and this is a new sci-fi-esque concept set up to make things much more secure. Because if you actually can't remember, have any clue about what you're doing or what you do like medically, it's impossible to know. There's no way of spilling the beans or there being any espionage, right? Any espionage. So it's an interesting thing. It's an interesting idea in of itself, and you get to understand what the lives are like for the innies and the outers. The innies are the people who are in the office, and the outers are in the outside world. And you get a parallel drama with both of them, which are both very, very, very compelling. So, but yeah, the interesting thing about lives is that they never get any off time, right? As they go in the elevator to leave, their memories switch off and their memories switch on as they come in. So as they walk out, they walk in again at the same time. And so, you know, as the new person, was it Haley? Was it Heliar is being orientated? They said try and focus on the feeling refreshed rather than being refreshed. So the second area of weirdness about this is what actually this world is. This is actually a subtly very different world. There's some kind of political guru that's been there for generations. That's been that's somewhat quasi religious, but in the severed world, of the offices, the Luban offices, who this leader is the company that this leader set up and control. He's absolutely religious because they only have memories of where they are right there. They're able to build up different realities, right? So, and then the question is about what is actually going on. What are they doing there? And nothing makes any sense. Nothing makes any sense at all. They are these old-fashioned computers, these green screen computers, and they're scanning numbers. And when they sense numbers that scare them, right? They scare them. They have to quarter them off and file them away. Are they doing anything? We really don't know. Probably not. They're probably not doing anything at all. So as the drama, the thriller progresses, you get to see more of the world, and they go and hunt out. They go on walks and they find other departments, and they know there's other, but they're also not allowed to interact with these other departments. And what's going on gets weirder and weirder and weirder. They also deal very well with how they control the people on the inside, and mainly with these weird incentives. Like if they get this amount of work done, they get these little toys like these finger traps and. But the ultimate thing is a waffle party. They do well enough, they get a waffle party, which we finally see towards the end of what a waffle party is. It's a bit strange, as is most of this show, most of this reality. John Turturro has a fantastic subplot where he meets somebody who does a lot of the design for the company, played by Christopher Walken, and you see their relationship build into a love story, and a very organic love story of that. So yeah, on top of all of this, there's more weird, strange controls placed upon them. When they don't do what they're told, they're forced to go into the scary break room. And so you don't get to see what goes on in the break room for quite a few episodes. And when you do, it seems horrible, right? It seems horrible, but I don't understand why they consented to it. But you get the impression that as long as they can be physically okay when they leave, more or less, they can do pretty much anything they like to the people. So they're completely under control. So essentially, the show comes into a question of what life is and what the quality of life is and what the realities of life are, and a struggle for self-determination and self-actualization. And it grows and it grows and it grows. A fantastic direction by Ben Stiller. Because as it gets towards the end, it teases it out and teases it as they get to this big denouement, and it's like the whole episode before the final episode. It just you're going one step closer, and you're on the edge of your seat, and it's fantastic. And then finally at the end, you get to a major denouement where everything seemingly changes. And it's I'm fascinated to see what's going on, what's going to happen next year, next season, whenever it is. It does end with an interesting cliffhanger with the Alan Scott's outside life and inside life being revealed as they are connected in the ways that he doesn't know, in a very, very profound and important ways, right? His motivation for living this severed life is he's lost his wife, and he just can't be miserable and sad all the time. That's why he's taken this job. And everybody has different motivations, but other people are not happy being severed, and they're not allowed to communicate with their outside selves to beg them to quit, to free them from this nightmare existence they live. One character goes to incredible lengths to get a message out, and when they do, things do not go the way that you hope it was, and it results later on. Again, more spoilers. Go watch it if you haven't seen it. More spoilers. results later in this wonderful suicide attempt revenge, where as they're getting in the elevator on their own, they get a noose, they hang themselves in the elevator. So as they're going down and they're choking to death, they become the outside person, and that outside person is now choking to death because there's so much hatred between the innie and the outie. It's just lots and lots of very, very, very clever ideas, beautifully acted, beautifully realized, beautifully acted, beautifully directed, with a real, fascinating plot. One other thing that I really do want to mention is Adam Scott's sister on the outside has this very, very pompous and pretentious self-help guru husband who's very, very self-led and basically a jerk-off, like a complete jerk-off, but mostly harmless, like well-meaning jerk-off. But he writes a book, and that book ends up somehow with the innie people, right? This self-help, and it's telling you very obvious things, but for them, which have no life experience and no understanding of what life is really about, for them, it's world-changing, it's life-changing, and everything comes together at the end in a very, very, very satisfying conclusion, which, as I said, leaves me on the edge of my seat for next season. So, strong recommend. If I wasn't clear enough about it, this is a strong, strong recommend. Go check it out. Severance, Apple Plus. I think Apple Plus charges what, $4.99, $5.99 a month. 100% worth it. 100% worth it just for this show. Foundation, that was the name of the other show. I was thinking of it, couldn't remember the name of it. Fine. My name is Elon Beck, and the Rabbi from Another Planet. Please like, share, and subscribe, and ring that little bell. Ring the little bell so you're notified when new videos drop.